Hey, what's up? How you doing? How's your day? Hope it was great. Gosh, sorry about that. I'm just hanging out. Well, traffic should be dying down when Fort Bragg lets out and Pope Army Airfield lets out. I live out in the sticks, but boy, you'd think, I say out in the sticks, but I live out, like, it seems like it's 1,000 miles from anywhere. But you get a mile from here, bro, and you sort of in gridlock. So I kind of hunker down, and of course that's been the story of my life the last few years, really hunkering down, being alone, and processing things, man. Processing my world as it came apart, and I always about anything interests me, and but boy, to sit back and watch piece by piece by piece, man, your life come apart, and being conscious of it and really putting a lot of thought into it is wow, boy, what a ride. Almost every day we hear something, we hear of something that happened, or some horrendous thing, some horrible thing. Like yesterday, that lesbian going in that Christian school in Nashville, arguably the safest school in that city, I'd say. In terms of look at it and to think about the people who put their children there, and the lives they lead, and how careful they are to take care of those babies, and try to make sure that that they do the right thing, that they train them up in the way that they should go, knowing that when they're old, they're not going to depart from them. And sorry, call was coming in, I think, but anyway, they put these babies there, and they took every single precaution that they possibly could. And then yesterday, man, I guess it was yesterday now, some kid, and you know what? If you look at her in the pictures before she went crazy, she was a good-looking kid. She obviously had parents that cared something about her, or she wouldn't have gone to school there. I mean, there was, and who knows, what issues or whatever, what mental issues that she may have dealt with in her personal life, But somewhere down inside of her is it still that little child, that's locked in a body, in a world that, she didn't have any control over, Nah, I mean, it's terrible, 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 terrible what Satan used her to do. But you know what? You have to look at her, so far as the individual. We have to look at her as the little girl, the little baby that was born, a little innocent baby that came into the world, and something happened somewhere. Something happened, she began to be shaped and molded and conformed, if you will, into what was going on around her. Even yesterday, as the echoes of the shots that tragically murdered those children, and even almost more tragically changed permanently the trajectory of each one of those families' lives, including the shooter's family. What could possess a person? What could possess a person to do that, And then another shooting, not too far from here, 3. Boom, 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 boom. Same, not the same scenario, but I mean, basically controlled by the same spirit. And I have to ask myself, and as I was telling somebody about it on chat, or talking about it on chat earlier today, we keep seeing these things happen, over and over and over, but we don't understand most of the time. What is it? What in the world? Well, let me tell you what it is. We know that when we accept Christ, that He comes and lives inside of us. And even somebody that's pretty rowdy like me, even somebody that had a little hard edge on him, like me, over a period of time, getting rid of that old crap and letting go of all the past stuff, and starting new and afresh, we began to honestly take on the nature of Christ. If we continue to put His Word inside of us, if we maintain a spirit of prayer and spend some time with Him, slowly, we start to take on, His nature, and like Paul said, the things that that's it's not in us to do, we do them because it's not us any longer that lives, but it's the Christ Spirit that lives in us, and boy, that's powerful revelation if you never get hold of that. If you never get hold of the fact that it ain't you, it ain't me, I'm telling you, I told you, that guy I talk about and get all emotional about stuff is dead, but as we walk and as we learn and as we continually immerse ourselves in the washing of the water of the pure Word of God, just the pure Word of God, not a lot of noise around it. It's okay, go listen to that later, because it's good too. But if we can learn, just to immerse ourselves in the washing of the water of the Word of God, then all of a sudden the brokenness, and mine, man, it was broken down like sand, sifted, dude, crushed. I can't even, wow. But then something almost magical happened. I hate to use that word, magical. I shouldn't use that word, but anyway, that's the point. That spiritual, let me erase that magical word, to be honest. But you get the point. It's a spiritual reaction that takes place when the water, the pure, unadulterated, let's call it alkaline water, of the living Word of God is put into your spirit, and it mixes with that brokenness, that sand, and out of that, man, is formed a clay. And as we continue in His presence, as we continue to seek Him, man, He starts forming that clay and that living water. That clay out of that sand is us, our brokenness, and He starts forming it, man, into an image that'll blow your mind. It's not even similar to what what we've been in the past, and it's freeing, and it's awesome. So boom, now put that on pause. Imagine, if you will, if instead of committing my life to Christ and starting to follow in His footsteps and starting to, try to emulate Him, let's suppose that I'd really gone down the dark side, and I was following my flesh. I was following these lusts and the things that come into my mind that aren't even part of who I am. But let's say for one moment that I had latched on to one of those fleeting arrows that were thrown at me, and I had followed instead in the pathway of Moloch, of Satan. What if? What if? And I believe that what we're seeing the result of in these school shootings, these violent acts, these hateful, disdainful things that are being done, the murder and the trafficking for sex of children and teenagers and the selling of parts and all of those things, you see. All they're doing is living out the spirit that's within them. Do you understand that? So that's what we're witnessing when we wonder how in the world this old dead goat can stand up there and say and tell some of the lies that he tells. We have to understand the spirit that embodies him. And see, it embodies these people to a point that we can't even imagine. They have actually sold their souls to Satan in exchange for power. And you say, it can't happen. Well, it can't. I guess he did take Jesus up there on the pinnacle somewhere and said, "I'll give it to you." All the king. I don't remember exactly the words. Well, he wouldn't have said that, and it wouldn't have been in the Bible if those were not tools that Satan had in his war chest. You see, and just because it's been 2,000 years, you ain't even tick on the clock of eternity. You know, or just because it's been all that time, it doesn't mean that those things have gone away. It doesn't mean that the same spirits that Jesus encountered when he was here on this earth, they didn't die when he died. I mean, you know, they didn't go away. They already dead, spiritually dead. But they didn't go away. As a matter of fact, they're thriving. See, and they've captured the hearts of many that don't even understand that it's Satan who has captured their heart, you see. And the spirit of this earth is going according to the spirit of Satan. You know, you just got to face up to it. They worship Moloch, a god that does not have a gender. It has two. I mean, it's morphodite, I guess you'd call it. But, you know, that's sort of the trend, and that's the push. You know, anything that's anti-Christ is very likely to be in the mainstream vogue of today. See? So, that's why they do it. So, ask the next time something like it comes up, and, you know, God forbid it does, but it's going to, and you get the thought that goes through your mind, how in the world could somebody do that to that child, to this whatever? Understand who embodies them. And in the same way that we're able to go down and, you know, like vomit if we have to off of somebody to help them, things that don't happen too often, but we will. Whatever. I saw a lady last week, you know, man, this lady her kidneys were failing, and she'd peed all over herself, and she's in a wheelchair, and, you know, she asked me to help her. Well, I couldn't help her. I saw this lady, man. I saw Christ come in this lady, you know, and take her in there and clean her. And she said she was so red, so chaffed, so just, oh, it's horrible. And then I saw her go and get the stuff that was needed to bind up those wounds, you see. And there, too, I say, man, how in the world can she do it? Same way we say about that lesbian out there that shot those people. You know, how in the world? Well, when you realize what has possessed these people, then it makes what's going on perfectly clear. Let me make a suggestion to you, even if you don't really do it that much, or even if you don't really believe what I'm saying. These are tough times. And most people are losing a little bit of sleep, or, you know, having a hard time, got it on their mind, you know. Learn to pray. Learn to pray. You say, come on and believe that. Well, I didn't either. You know, Mama said it was right, so I kept on, you know. And I understand most people don't believe it. You know, around where Jesus lived, he couldn't even do miracles around him. There's so much unbelief around there. So, you know, we understand that. But even if you don't believe it, try it. What you got to lose? Just say, God, I don't even believe in you. But if you're real, man, I need you. You know? And if you really did make me, then reveal yourself to me. You know, pray a prayer like that. You don't like to memorize, you know, Hail Mary, full of grace, okay, or Our Father, that's good too. But But, you know, you need to get on a one-on-one basis here when you're on the floor. You know, there ain't no time for formalities or anything else, you know. There's a time to fish, you know, cut bait, and then there's a time to fish. Well, when you get to that point, it's time to fish. So just go ahead and pray. And if you do believe, but you don't, you know, all that comfortable, just say, hey, God, please help me. I need you right now, and I need to know you more, and I need to get closer to you. And say that with a sincere heart, and just watch it happen, because it's going to. And, man, I got so many things pent up inside of me, you know, to tell you, I feel like. And there'll be plenty of time for that. But for right now, and go enjoy your evening with those that love you, and don't take it for granted, because it's as quickly as in a twinkling in an eye, I guess it can go away. All right, love you. Take care. Have a good day.